Okay, there's an important study that came out this week. I think it's really important. Education is so important in our society, and the cost is going through the roof, and it's stopping people from really getting the education they need. And what this study says is something I've really never seen so definitive before in all the data that's come out about the value of college. And this says that, it's stupid to go to Harvard, or any high-class, high-paying or high-cost school. I mean, it doesn't pay to go to Harvard. It's not worth it. And this study is quite comprehensive. It studied like 30,000 college graduates from 1959 to present, and it evaluated their life after they went to college. Now, how good their life was, and not only money, but evaluate how much money they make, how's their social well-being, as they call it, their purpose well-being. Are they doing something worthwhile in life? Their community well-being, and even their physical well-being. So it really judges the whole person, their outcome, in life, how well they did in life, and they matched it up with what kind of college they went to. And the most amazing thing, I mean, you do just as well in life if you went to Harvard or if you went to Podunk U out in the middle of nowhere. So that means you could be saving yourself $100,000 and having the same outcome in life. And the other thing it shows is that debt, the higher you have debt from college, the worse your life is. I mean, that's amazing, because so many people are going into debt to get a college degree because they think that it's important. And this data shows absolutely. Look at these statistics here. Well, first of all, the name of the study. You want to Google it, get the facts. Don't trust one huckster like me telling you about this. You could find out about all the details of this study by just Googling Great Jobs, Great Life. And it's a study 2014 by Gallup and Purdue University. Great Jobs, Great Life. Okay, here's the two basic graphs in here. You see all graduates, thriving well-being. Okay, they're the most, you have the most successful life or not in all these categories. And for all graduates, it's like 11%. That's how many have a perfect life in every category. So 11%. But it's the same for public school. It's the same for a private not-for-profit school, like Harvard and things like that. So whether you go to a public university or you go to Harvard, it's the same success rate. I mean, that's what's amazing. If you go to a very selective public school or a very selective private school, it's almost the same. But even if you go to one of the best schools in the country, ranked by U.S. World Report, it's the same. It doesn't matter. That's right. Except there's one exception, and that's private for-profit universities. The universities that are private companies, and there's a lot of them on the New York Stock Exchange making a lot of money out of this. And if you go to one of them, you have a lousier life outcome versus all the other universities. And that's significant to me, because they're making a lot of money because they're making you get a loan to go to their school. They make 80–90% of all their money come from government subsidized money. So that's why it's important, I think, to know the data. It's so we chase things, we don't know why we're chasing them, in our lives, because somebody else says it's cool, and so we want to be part of the cool kids or whatever. But when you get the data and you see the people who go to these places have no more success in life than people who don't, man, I mean, and this is data of 30,000 people. So that's very important. Now here's the other thing, the debt. Now look at this graph. Okay, how successful are you? Or you're depending on how much debt you have, what is your well-being for that? Okay, if you have no debt from college, you have a more successful overall life in everything. That means your social life, your financial life, your physical life, how healthy you are, all these kinds of things. I mean, these people work like hell doing this study. With no debt. The higher debt you have, the less success you have in your life after college. I mean, to me, the phenomenal statistics, you know, and I'm sure there's some flaws in the data or everything, and you can find outliers and stuff like that. But other data I've seen before sort of match up. That there was a wonderful study done a few years back about the income from going to a prestigious university. And you can't just take everybody went to Harvard, what's their income is 10 years later, and everyone go to Podunk University, what their income is, because they're different people, right? But what they did a study on the people who accepted to Harvard and Podunk, but they went to Podunk instead. So they could have gone either. And those people had the same income after, you know, like 10, 15, 20 years or whatever, after going to Podunk when they were accepted in Harvard. So, I mean, that is pretty telling. That's why, I mean, it seems to me education is so important in our society, and we're putting people in debt, and putting people in debt that go into places that aren't worth it, you know, is the most important thing. So what to do, I think, if you're thinking about more higher education, you do. I mean, I think about it even myself all the time at my age. I'm going to live another 20 years. I want to be prepared. Yeah. So the first thing you do, I think there's 3 things you should think about. One is, don't go to a for-profit college. I mean, this data really proves that. Okay, so that's one. You strike that off the list. Next is you sacrifice as much as you can and all the other requirements in life, you know, so you don't have that college debt, whatever it is. You're going to get a part-time job, you're going to do, you want to stay around away from that college debt, because that's going to hurt you for the rest of your life. Okay, the third thing I think you must do is, before you go, if you want to go to Harvard, you know, whatever the university it is, first check your local community college, because they have so many great programs, either, you know, a 2-year program, 1-year program. The tuition is only $1,000. You don't have to pay $50,000. So maybe you spend 2 years there, and then go somewhere else, to somewhere that has the real thing you need, and you get all the, you know, those junky courses you got to take out of the way at no cost. Or there's other things. You get a 2-year course, you know, and then start a job at $50,000, and that could cost you nothing because they have money to pay for that, you know, things like that. Or maybe you can take just a 3-month course, you know, and start a whole new career on a technical career that's really in demand, and only takes a few months. That's why those community colleges, you know, I think are the first place to touch base, no matter what you're thinking about, for the first time you got into higher education, or even going back to higher education. And you could look at this website, AACC, American Association of Community Colleges, .nche.edu. That's AACC.nche.edu, right? Education is important, but it's not worth ruining your life to get it.